So we're gonna make a cake today, and not just any cake. We're going to make a carrot cake with cream cheese frosting. And the good thing about this is you get to use up any extra straggler carrots that you have around, and you can sneak vegetables into a dessert. No other cake can really do that. So let's get started. So the easiest way and the fastest way to get through anything you make is to get everything out before you start. This way you figure out if you have everything to make the recipe, because we don't want to run out to the store in the middle of a recipe with the oven on. And also you know exactly if you need to make any modifications, you can. So for this recipe, we will need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, not baking powder. There is a difference, trust me. 1 cup of vegetable oil. You'll need 3 eggs, and this is about 5 medium carrots shredded. Now the store does sell them already grated up, which if you don't have any carrots and you really want to make this, you can go and get that. You also need your oven preheated to 360 degrees. Now for the frosting, you're going to need to take out 1/4 cup of butter, which is about 4 tablespoons. You leave it out so this way it can get all soft and mushy. Then you also need a pack of cream cheese, 8 ounces. And this also you leave it out so it can get a little mushy and softened. Now, let's get started. So, when you get a pan, I'm using a 13 by 9 because I don't have 2 8-inch or 9-inch round pans. You can use either one. But for today, I'm using my 13 by 9-inch pan. So you grease the bottom and the sides of the pan with shortening, and you lightly flour the bottom of the pan. Now, you're going to need a large bowl. Trust me, you want room for this. So, in your large bowl, you're going to take your granulated sugar. Pour that in. Then you take your oil. Pour that in. And then you take your 3 eggs and pour those in. 1, 2, 3. So, in this bowl, now you're gonna mix your eggs, sugar, and oil with your nice little mixer for about 30 seconds. Okay, so now this has been mixed. It's nicely blended. So now you take the 2 cups of flour that you have, dump that in. Whoop. Then you take the 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon that you had. Next, you put in your 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And then you'll have 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And this is a big thing in most recipes. You do need salt. I don't know why, but you need the salt. About 1/2 teaspoon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This way I turn. This way or that way?
That's good. 1/2 teaspoon, and we're good. So now you're gonna mix this for about a minute. Okay, so now we blended it for a minute, and this smells so good with the cinnamon. So next you're gonna take your carrots and you're going to stir them into the mix. Put the carrots in. Get
them all?
And now see, this is the important part. I'm using a plastic bowl because this is the biggest bowl I have, and I'm going to mix it with a rubber spatula. If you're using a stainless steel bowl or any kind of metal bowl, you don't really want to use a metal spoon or anything that could scratch it, because then you can actually damage your bowl. This bowl is plastic, so it's going to take a lot for it to be messed up. But just a fair warning, you know, don't use metal on stainless steel appliances. So now we're going to mix this in. And that's the one downside of being left-handed. It's a little bit harder to get used to doing everything almost essentially backwards. So you mix everything in. So now it's all nice and mixed up. So we're going to pour the mixture into the nicely greased and floured pan.
It's heavy. Hold a stick or something. I'll pour it, push it down. I think it's so damn heavy. But it is.
Okay. So once it's in the pan, you want to make sure to get it in the pan as evenly as possible. This way when it bakes, it'll bake evenly and you won't have underdone spots or overdone spots. So the easiest way is literally just use the spoon and get it back into the pan, into the corners, into every nook and cranny. So once you get it all nice and even, make sure everything is all smooth, you'll put it into your 350-degree oven for 40 to 45 minutes. And if you were using the round pans, you would put it in for 30 to 35 minutes or until the toothpick test comes out and is nothing done. Okay, so there's about a little less than 10 minutes left to go for the carrot cake. So now we're going to start on the frosting. Okay, so you have your 1 8-ounce package of cream cheese that's nice and softened.
8 ounces?
So to that, you're going to add the 1/4 cup of butter or margarine, either one. And then you're going to add your 3 teaspoons of milk. So 1 tablespoon is also the 3 teaspoons. So you add that milk into the butter and cream cheese. And then you're going to add in another teaspoon of vanilla. So you add in about a teaspoon. Give or take. That's about good. So now you're going to beat this until it's nice and smooth. So now the butter, cream cheese, and milk and vanilla is mixed up. And you're going to add in 4 cups of powdered sugar or confectioner sugar. And you're going to do it 1 cup at a time. Blend it until it's nice and smooth and spreadable. And this is going to be our cream cheese frosting. So that was the first cup. Here's the second cup. And now we're going to blend. So this is the third cup. And now we're going to blend. And now for the fourth and final cup. And we're going to blend that. The cake just stopped and it came out and it looks great. And I've actually never made a carrot cake before. So this is the first try. So we're going to let this cool and we're going to finish up the frosting. And then we're going to put the frosting all over the cake.
Look at my big...
So after 4 cups of the powdered sugar, this is how the cream cheese frosting is going to look. And if you need, you can always add more if you want a thinner frosting. So now we have the cake and it's nice and cool. We have our frosting. So we're going to take the frosting and...
Do 1 scoop at a time. It'll be easier.
So we're going to get all the icing onto the cake. And you want to make sure you scrape the sides of your bowl so you get all the good, yummy frosting out and onto the cake. And then the easiest thing once you start in the middle is just spread it out to the edges. And the good thing about using this kind of pan is as the cake sits, all the frosting is going to get into all the little nooks and crannies over all the corners, and you can actually serve the cake in this dish. So once you get all the frosting in all the nooks and crannies, all the corners, you can put this in your refrigerator to cool and set. And if you want to feel festive, you can always sprinkle more ground cinnamon. You can sprinkle some nutmeg. If you have walnuts or almonds, anything really that you would want to put on top of a cake, you can do it. And the good thing about this cake is if you don't have a super, super sweet tooth, it's going to be a little sweet, but not overly sweet. But that's all for today, and I will see you in the next round.